My name is Lieutenant So, and for today's Mission Command Brief, I'll be talking about the Battle of Chosin Reservoir, and this brief is unclassified. This is today's agenda. So, the commander I was assigned is Colonel Louis Chesty Puller. During the time of this battle, he was 52 years old with 32 years of service to include his enlisted time. And he commanded the 1st Marine Regiment. He was already a distinguished leader by the Korean War. He was very famous in World War II. If you guys seen the TV show Pacific, he was on there too. So Battle of Chosin Reservoir, it happened 27 November to December 11, 1950. Happened in Chosin Reservoir, obviously, but it was about 80 miles north of the DMZ, or the 38th parallel at the time. And the unit that was in that area was the 1st Marine Division, along with some U.S. Army units up there. And the enemy forces that we'll be talking about is the People's Liberation Army, which is the Chinese Army. So, talk about the Chosin Reservoir. So, after the Incheon landing, as Captain Bird over there talked about, the General MacArthur came in and then saved the South Korea from the Busan, and then they pushed all the way up front and regained Seoul. But at this point, General MacArthur pushed up north and tried to unify the Korean Peninsula. And he believed that the North didn't have any more forces available, so he thought there was no obstacles, and we'll just push all the way up to the Chinese border, and we'll be good to go. So the 1st Marine Division was following the single supply route north, about 80 miles long, and then they're traveling up, and the commander of the 1st Marine Division was kind of skeptical, still thinking that there were enemies out there, even though General MacArthur thought there weren't any. So he set up the division headquarters at the hangar right here, and then a bulk of the Marines continued up to the Yudam, and then U.S. Army forces stationed at the right side of the Chosin Reservoir to protect the right flank. And in the rear D, in the Kotori, is where our protagonist, Colonel Chesty Puller, was stationed at with his 1st Marine Regiment. So on the night of the 27th November, after they celebrated a very cold Thanksgiving, where it was approximately negative 35 degrees, all of a sudden they were surrounded by approximately 150,000 Chinese military, People's Liberation Army. And approximately the size was about two corps. And they just started attacking them, and it was just a giant horde surrounding them. So as you can see on the left map, you see all these arrows, and they're just literally attacking them from every single direction they can possibly could. And this was happening for days. So what actually happened was Mao Zedong sent in troops to North Korea because he didn't like the fact that the UN forces were actually going to push all the way up to the Chinese border. So he felt threatened by that. The U.S. Intelligence knew about the size of an army, but they thought it was being shipped to somewhere else, not to North Korea. So it totally caught everyone off guard, to include General MacArthur. So everyone was kind of low-key panicking. So as Major General Smith, the 1st Marine Division commander, was trying to find a way out, he planned to evacuate to the Hungnam port, which is a little bit more southeast over here. So on November 29th, he contacted Colonel Chesty Puller, who was stationed at the Kotori, defending the rear D. He told him to, hey, I need this route cleared out and safe and open so that the division can pull back to Hungnam port. So what Colonel Puller did was he created a task force named Task Force Drydale, and it was comprised of approximately 900 men to 140 vehicles, and he gave the command to Lieutenant Colonel Drysdale. And what he told him was, hey, clear the route and keep it open for the division to use to evacuate down south. So the task force was deployed from Kotori all the way to Hagaru, and they were heavily attacked. They were being flanked from both left and right side of the road because there's one entrance and one exit, so they had to use that road. So as they're being flanked left and right, it was so gruesome that the road was named Hellfire Valley because it was just so many Marines lost to them. So talk about mission command principles. So build teams through trust. Like I mentioned before, he was already a distinguished soldier, Marine, and a leader by the time from World War II. He was, he already had 4 Navy crosses by this time, and his main philosophy was that all the Marine leaders should be leading from the front, setting the example, and you tell the soldiers, you do what you want the soldiers to do, you don't just tell them. So he was definitely respected, and the soldiers definitely trusted him. Exercise discipline initiative. He was trusted by his superiors. Previously to this battle, his superiors would tell him to do something, and then he would knock it off, and the superiors would rarely check up on him because he was so proficient at it. And then for this battle as well, he immediately assembled the task force and swiftly deployed it. They deployed it at 9:30 in the morning. It didn't say exactly when General Smith contacted him, but at 9:30 in the morning, I would assume that he was able to deploy within a matter of hours. Use mission orders and provide clear intent. So he was very simple and direct. He told Lieutenant Colonel Drysdale to, hey, take the task force that we created, clear the route, and keep it open so that the division can travel safe down. And his intent was not to back down from it whatsoever. He told some of the leaders that recommended retreating back to Kotori that if anyone was to be seen retreating back, they would be treated as a traitor to the nation and be shot on sight. So he told them, like, this is no BS, that we will continue on forward all the way up to the Haga route. And instead of prudent risk, he knew that the operation was going to be very dangerous, but he also knew that if they failed, then the division will all fall and everyone would die. So he accepted that risk, and he understood that, even though his men was, put in a dangerous situation, but it was for the greater cause. So we're gonna watch a quick video and the video is about when the division was heading back down south because the route was open, and it's one of the soldiers who was coming back talking about what he saw from that site.
As far as I was concerned, we felt that we were going to kick some butt, and we were kicking butt up there. So come walking out of there, that 75 miles back to Nam, just felt like we were the victors, marching out of there. Until you got to Hellfire Valley, I should have put that in there. I would say when I got to Hellfire Valley on the way out, walking out, that you could almost cry seeing those Marines over there. Until you see your guy landed, you don't think much of it. But all these Marines in Hellfire Valley, and trucks overturned, the looting, paper letters all over, where your mail went. That was the last of the mail, there it was. Until we got to go to Reed, that was a sad scene.
So ultimately, the Task Force Dragos was able to reach Hungnam, the Haga route. But like the gentleman said, there were heavy casualties, so a lot of good Marines who made the ultimate sacrifice. A lot of vehicles turned over from the damage and the flame. And the 1st Marine was able to safely evacuate to the Hungnam port and be sea evacuated out of there. And overall, the UN forces were pushed down to the 30 parallel, where they went back and forth and ultimately became a stalemate and established the DMZ, the Demilitarized Zone. Colonel Puller earned the Distinguished Service Cross from the United States Army and his 5th Navy Cross for his action and his quick response to saving the division out of there. So in conclusion, Colonel Pooler was a fearless leader. Even under heavy pressure, he trusted his subordinates to carry out his intent to ultimately save the division. And I think we can all learn from him, to stay calm and, to understand the risk that we need to take on, even though it might bring danger to your soldiers. And he had a very optimistic view. When they were surrounded, he quoted, "We've been searching for the enemies for some time, now we're surrounded. That simplifies our problem." So even under heavy pressure, he always had a very optimistic view that we can all learn from. If any questions, that concludes my group.